3, 2, 1. And welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And every single podcast we're bringing you the round of the week's best geek and tech news. We discuss that news and, of course, anything else we're interested in that week.
All right, in Geek News this week, we'll talk about the new Internet Live TV options. First look at the Defenders and Inhumans, the Chinese fighting robot, the movie trailer showdowns, and much, much more.
Absolutely. And, of course, we're going to our show, though, with wonderful geek news. And our first story in Geek News this week is going to be about Google phishing. Not the kind that gets you...
It went down.
Good information. Yep.
We knew it was going to happen and it happened.
Yeah.
All
Instead,
right.
This is about Google phishing, the kind of thing that gets your personal information stolen. There's a big issue this week with people basically falling for a phishing scam. Clever new phishing scam works this way with Google's system to appear to be a legit request for access to your email and address book. Now, this is sort of normal. In case when you get a document, you have to sign into a Google account to, get access to it. But in this case, it shows email from a trusted contact inviting you to Google Doc, and then you click on it, and it asks to manage your Gmail and contacts information. Except that that's not how Google Documents work. It doesn't act like a third-party app, which is what this phishing scam is doing. Especially, they're basically getting you to let them look at your mobile contact list to send out more stuff. And basically get more information for people. So it's a very tricky thing, a very interesting way to gain people confirmation, but it ends up spreading like crazy. And hopefully and thankfully, Google has been tamping down on it recently, but better let you know.
Yeah, it's compared to those other scams that I don't know about, at least here in the United States, if compared to other countries. Have you heard about those phone scams where they're claiming to be the IRS? And, then they want your, information, of course, and they go from there. Oh, they give you, send a check to so-and-so. It's almost like, what would you consider the first scam? At least internet-wise, I would say the email, the whole Nigerian prince.
I was going to say, that was like the very first scam. Oh, I trade you 2 bones on Tuesday for a hamburger today. Caveman style.
2 bones, a little wimpy.
Yeah, it's called the wimpy caveman ploy.
Yeah, no. Always got to be careful on password protect all your stuff. Even if, the only thing that I feel that's kind of a scam nowadays is like when you click on certain apps or certain things. Like right now, I just literally did this. Is they say like those personality quizzes. They say like, oh, which character are you, or what describes you, and you click on it, so you have to log in with Facebook. But then when you log into Facebook, it like asks for your request for your personal contacts, this and that and that and that. Like, you really want to find out which Sex in the City, if you're a Miranda or whatever, but you're willing to give up all your information.
Look, I already know I'm a Carrie. I don't need some quiz to tell me that.
Exactly.
But no, I hear what you're saying, and you need to be careful about the permissions that you give apps, especially free games from the app stores. So they're legitimate games, but they also ask for information like, oh, your contact details, access to your camera, your microphone, and when you click yes, even though this is some very fun game, you're actually giving them a lot more permissions and information than you realize. Like they literally have permission to listen to your conversations through the microphone on your phone.
Yeah.
They may not be doing it. They may be innocuous. They just want like various permissions in case they develop something later. But that's the risk you take with technology.
Totally. There's like the other ones when I've had that before. I'm like, what if I hit no?
Like free is not really free.
Yeah.
When you say no, then it doesn't install and you can't play that game.
Which sucks. I'm like, so that means the game's probably not worth it that much if you want to sell
your information. It kind of depends. Yeah, it depends on how many candies you want to click.
Exactly.
Okay, but on to our next story, which is actually kind of fun.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Chinese combat robot. Chinese inventors have created a $14 million fighting robot called the Monkey King. This is the third gladiator robot to be revealed after the U.S. Japan unveiled their models. The team has officially challenged the U.S. The MK3 Megabot to duel, but we'll have to wait until after an announced fight between the U.S. and Japanese kuratas. There you go. Both creators are touting the duel as the world's first public giant robot fight, and hope to make it a worldwide phenomenon. Hey, if another country wants in, I could only imagine what the European ones would look like.
Yeah, nice. At some point, I'm thinking like Gundam battles.
Totally.
Just every. I mean, I remember there was actually a Gundam series where it was different people from different countries in the world actually fighting. All their Gundams were like nationalized.
Yeah.
Like the Chinese one was like a dragon, had like dragon arms. And like the European one had like a fencing weapon they used instead of like a light blade or a laser blade. And the Japanese one had like the angel wings. I mean, and so I'm like, oh, okay,
armored out.
Yeah, and like I think Germany was just like racist. That was its superpower as a Gundam.
Has that little mustache.
Yeah, there was a metal
with a
mustache,
little comb over to the side kind of deal.
That would reveal. It would like flip up and like shoot out a rocket.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I missed that one. I forgot what was the name of old anime where this one. Yes, most of the robots would have like fists that would fly off like rocket punch and whatever.
Yeah.
But there was this one that her boobs were like missile torpedo things that would actually fly out and take you out that way.
Which seems like a waste.
It varies.
But yeah, that's where we're heading at this point. I mean, when you look at the YouTube video for the Chinese one, it looks very slow and clunky and not at all effective. But it's the beginnings of the dream.
Oh yeah, totally. I want to see
at some point in the future, I hope that all world conflicts are resolved by giant mech battles. That's my dream and hope, guys.
So yeah, close. Have you ever seen the Robot Wars hosted by Chris Jericho?
Yeah, they weren't that awesome.
No, it was very similar to like Rockin' Sockin' Robots.
Yeah. It was. I enjoyed very much BattleBots. They're a lot more frenetic, faster paced. The Robot Wars was just people punching each other and not it was
bad, really.
Yeah, they're not really doing damage, and it felt very pre-made and set up, and it just wasn't entertaining. I was like just seeing a bunch of like homemade robots kill each other.
Yeah.
So there, but with new robots coming on the scene every day, we show lots of videos of like walking, talking robots on 4 legs and 6 legs, scrambling around or flying around, climbing walls and trees and getting people beers. So yeah, robotics are advancing. So there you go. Okay, next story is entertainment, or not entertainment, entertainment-ish. Twitter announced this week that it will be partnering with Bloomberg on a 24-hour live video news stream, but they'll also be partnering with BuzzFeed and let's see, The Verge, Cheddar, I don't know if they are, the WNBA and the MLB. So apparently they couldn't get the real basketball players, the NBA.
They got baseball players though, but
they did.
So they got something. Which I'm surprised they haven't done. Like, honestly, there is such thing as 24-hour news.
Yeah.
But, as long as it's not the fake news that, people are complaining about, why not?
I'm always curious. It always entertains me to no end how often major news outlets are fooled by onion stories. Like, it happens on a fairly regular basis where they're just reporting something that fits into their narrative, and then it turns out, it was reported by the Onion. And nobody decided to fact check.
No, that's what should be an organization should be called fact check. That way for real.
There is an actual website called fact check. That's what they do, but nobody reporters can't bother to look it up.
They rather Wikipedia and everybody else is kind of
it's one of those things like, oh, this news story sounds great. Let's not check it. Let's just send it on the news, and there it goes. Yeah, and then later, like if they get an outcry, then it's retracted.
Yeah, and
in like the smallest section.
Yeah, we'd like to apologize
for these wrong stories, and just things just scroll down
forever.
Yeah, the end.
I think.
Yeah, like 3 of our stories actually revolve around the same kind of thing, like social media enterprises becoming news or media outlets, I should say. We have Twitter. Later we're going to have Snap, and then Facebook, and then also like people just like these social networks becoming ways of getting like actual content, like full-blown television shows, full-blown live television streams like that are normally broadcast over the airwaves are being sent through your social media sites. They basically realize we have the eyeballs, so why not do this thing?
Surprised they just haven't got the route of kind of like the way not necessarily Fox News but CNN does have the little ticketing thing on the very bottom.
Yeah,
but just your news as it happens and whatnot. I'm like, oh, then you just
Well, that's kind of what it is now with like Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter. Is that's all that is? It's a scrolling feed of information of headlines saying this has happened. And in Facebook case, it's like, oh, your aunt had a birthday party, in addition to war in Iraq.
yeah, that's true.
You know, so that's all they really are. But it's also combining now with actual traditional television because more and more people are just cutting the cord to regular TV and cable, and so these outlets need to find new advertised spacing, and the people that have the eyeballs and your attention, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, places like that. Okay, Hulu's next.
Hulu launched its live TV service Wednesday, offering more than 50 channels for a $40 a month or $44 a month for a commercial-free library access. Channels like HGTV, travel, and food joined from the Scripps network to add to the channels from the ABC Disney. I almost chopped it up. I'm doing it still. CBS, Fox, and NBC. A DVR can hold up to 50 hours of programming, or you can pay $15 a month for 200 hours. Each account gets two how do you pronounce that?
Simultaneous.
Thank you. Simultaneous streams through $50 can make that unlimited. $20 a month gets you 200 hours and then unlimited streams. The redesigned app comes along with a new service for Xbox One, Apple TV, Android, and Chromecast. iOS users need to download a new Hulu and Live TV app, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV sticks, and Samsung Smart TVs coming out soon, but no word on web access. Hulu also announced a season 2 for The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, which is their latest hit original programming show. But as far as like Hulu goes, do you think that's too much to pay? Either $40 or up to like $50 a month.
It's borderlining getting up to, sad to say, cable prices.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily let you choose the 50 channels that you're getting. They're just bundling them like a skinny package.
Yeah.
The same way that cable services do. You get some you like, you get some you don't, and the ones you don't, you're essentially subsidizing. Mm-hmm. And to me, that kind of goes against the grain of like the Hulu model and like the Netflix model and like the Roku model, where it's very true. Pay a low fee and you get a bunch of stuff, and you basically choose what you get to watch on demand. This live streaming option here is by choice. Like you have to add it necessarily, but it's really more for people who are more used to like the live television shows, like because you can get ABC for free, you can get NBC and all those other basic television stuff for free on the internet. They all have their own apps and they stream, send you their shows for free if you know how to work them, of course. But now you can pay for it and you get a DVR service. I'm like, I know there's enough people recording things that they just send it on the internet for free. So I don't see why you would need to do these things, to be honest.
When you're paying for something, for anything, you have to have something exclusive, something that obviously your competitors don't have, to get you to want to purchase it. Because, like you said, why would I pay for something that's out there that's for free?
Yes, exactly, and that's kind of the issue. So, I mean, I know the HGTV stuff is something you either pay for on cable or this way. And I guess if you're jonesing for the next flip or flop, this would be a way to get it maybe at a slightly cheaper rate, depending on what your current cable package is. That's the only benefit I could possibly see. But our next story talks about the next social media app going with live TV. In this case, it's going to be Snap. The Wall Street Journal reports that Snap Inc. has signed deals with NBC Universal Turner, Discovery, ESPN, Vice Media, Scripps Networks, and the NFL to produce original video shows for Snap TV. Snap wants true, original scripted dramas, news, animation, and more. NBC's The Voice recently ran a version of its competition on Snapchat. Snapchat will give content providers 70% of the revenue if the partner sells ads, or 50% if Snap has to do the selling. There are also, of course, rumors that Facebook will also start streaming original content in June, mid-June of next month.
Well, isn't the thing? Doesn't Facebook own Snap?
Yes.
So obviously it makes sense on that part.
Yeah. So it's also the point that they're making original content.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like, oh, they're signing streaming deals,
Yeah.
which is what Snapchat is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, Facebook doesn't own Snapchat; they own Twitter.
Uh,
So there's difference. So there are competitors in this instance. But in this case, Snapchat, everybody seems to want to get in the original media game because Netflix is doing so well with their original content. Like they're making money hand over fist, and they don't have to deal with advertisers. And the Hulu model is something in between where they do some ads, but if you pay a couple extra bucks more a month, then you don't get any ads. And so it's a very interesting mix currently. But like everybody's trying to get in the TV game.
To me, original content, it's almost hard nowadays. Like any concept's pretty much been done. It's just a matter of who's putting it and how it's being distributed.
Yes, there's nothing new on the face of the earth practically.
Yeah.
But there's just so much media out there that you've never seen because it's been local. For example, I've just been binging on Dr. Blake Murder Mysteries, which is an Australian program that's currently they got the first 3 seasons on Netflix. And like for those first 3 seasons, like, oh, I never saw this murder mystery when it came out live because I don't live in Australia.
Of course.
And so Netflix and Hulu have been gathering content from around the world, depending on the price points, of course, and giving it to people. And so I've been exposed to more and more new things, and especially with the original media content they're making, like mystery-sized Science 3000 Return. Hulu has The Handmaid's Tale, and everybody has their own weird content. Of course, we have all those Marvel Netflix shows that everybody loves.
Oh, yeah.
None of that stuff would have been made on traditional cable television. And so because Netflix doesn't have to answer to advertisers, they can take a lot more risks. And I like that part of this new media system, and that independent producers can basically say, we're going to make anything we want. Some of it's going to be great, some of it's going to suck, but we don't really care as long as we get eyeballs in there and people keep renewing their subscriptions.
Yeah, like especially for Netflix. The most recent Netflix show that I just watched, that I just binged on, was Dear White People, and it was really good.
Is it good? I haven't seen it yet.
Really good. It's a movie first.
Yep.
It had the.
It's a book first, then a
Was
movie,
it a book?
and then television.
Oh, well, at least yeah. But it was good in general. I liked the movie. I saw the movie version. It had the I don't know if you ever watched the TV show Everybody Hates Chris.
No.
Well, the lead actor in there, he was in the movie, but they transitioned it to make it almost like a TV series.
Yeah.
But either way, it flows nicely, really well done. Can't wait till season 2 or whatnot of it comes out. There's some other ones that I like. A lot of friends kind of recommended me, like, "Oh, you got to check this out." I'm like, okay, But a lot of times it's one of those. I don't make the judgment until I watch it for myself, and then I go from there. But like the other media companies like Amazon's been having some of their own exclusive TV shows. Yeah. Crackle, and it's depending, I guess, what you're into, what you want to watch.
Yeah, everybody's trying to find the magic formula to keep their viewers where they are, and it's because there's so much choice that they have to work harder to provide enough entertainment so that people keep subscribing to them.
Yeah.
And people like me just subscribe to everything, like Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, and even then it's like, okay, $30 a month basically, and it's still more entertaining than anything I got on a cable package.
Totally, and especially now, don't get me wrong, even certain network television, even cable channels like that shows old school shows like TV Land. That shows like old I Love Lucy reruns. Yeah. There's still not an exclusive channel that there's so many shows that you don't see anymore, even in a rerun format. Like one show that always seemed to be on as when I was a kid was Gilligan's Island. You don't see that anymore.
No. So Viacom has those, and they've been. It's always about rights and like who's going to pay them to stream their media, basically, or if they're going to stream it themselves. And so a lot of those titles aren't going to come back because they don't want to sell the rights because they're trying to figure out how to do their own thing, and Gilligan's Island is one of them. I've been wanting to watch the Mary Tyler Moore Show again just because I binge watched on the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
And that's an immediate, watch after it. It's like Laura Petrie gets a job after she divorces Rob, and she becomes a media mogul and a newspaper woman. Of course, after that, you get into Rhoda from there, and a bunch of other spin-off shows like the Bob Newhart Show, and everything that comes after that, and you can't find them.
Yeah,
because
nobody
has the rights yet. Yeah, and like one or two media companies just hogging them all until they get like the proper dollar figure, basically. And so you may not, and they maybe may not spend on classic, because you're also getting things like the Andy Griffith Show currently on Netflix, and so you kind of get the truth.
Episodes, but there's so much old school television that's not reruns used to be a good thing.
Yes, I would like to see Mork and Mindy. Happy Days. I think all that is perfect for like
Charles
the
in
Netflix
Charge.
binging model. Yeah, all that stuff is definitely just at the right price point, basically, which it comes down to.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of price points,
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 3? With Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 looking at the gross to more than $160 million this opening weekend, it should be no surprise that the writer-director James Gunn has already begun writing the script for Guardians of the Galaxy in Volume 3. He also confirms that Gamora will have a major role in this film.
yeah. Now this is going to be post Infinity Wars.
Post Infinity, okay.
So, because in the schedule, yeah, we're going to the Galaxy and then a couple of Marvel films and then Infinity Wars, and then this when this one will come out. So, it also was reported that Adam Warlock is also going to be a major character in Guardians 3. He's going to make an appearance apparently in Guardians 2, which I haven't seen yet, so don't spoil it, folks. But he'll be like a major player in Guardians 3, which is what this would be in.
Especially since it's going to be post Infinity War, because in the comic book world, he's a big thing in it.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it's going to take place. How to work out the details on, especially the look and everything.
I'm curious about the script because they've heard good things about Guardians 2. People saying, yeah, great stuff, best thing Marvel's done yet. It's hard to do a sequel better than the first, but they did it. Blah blah blah. So my expectations are, raised slightly. Which may be great, maybe a bad thing. I might be disappointed because they're too high. But I'm waiting for Mother's Day, and we're all going to go out as a big family to go watch that movie together, apparently.
Except our baby.
Except the baby, who is not allowed in a small enclosed space with lots of people who pay money.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how. I'm not sure what's more. This is more of a parental kind of thing. When is the age appropriate time that kid can take to the movies and be able to sit there and watch? But we'll get there when we get there.
Yep, we will. Okay, next story. It's Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child has been doing great in New York, and it's coming to the USA. It is going to be opening on Broadway's Lyric Theater on April 22nd, 2018. So a little about a yearish from now, and you can go try to get your tickets now, folks. I know lots of people are jonesing to watch this thing. Growing up Harry Potter. And, we have a picture of him currently. He's on the bed with his wife, Ginny. And so you don't want to know where that wand's been, folks.
Okay, that's a pretty thick wand, even for just like the little LED light, whatever that's at the end of it, man. It's just like, especially the awkward. No, well, you got to see the picture. But
your favorite spell is probably Vibraticus.
Yeah. My thing is, everybody wants to see it because remember there was the big hype in was it London that was viewing. Everybody wanted to see it. People were literally flying over.
Oh yeah, no, sold out in minutes, like the entire season's worth of tickets, and it's a huge. It's like a major Broadway show, obviously in London, but it's going to be an actual Broadway show now, and it's going to be as popular. You're going to get your tickets months in advance, and people are going to build their entire vacation schedule around seeing the play, and eventually 5-6 years from now it'll come out to the West Coast and maybe do a tour around the United States.
Now this is going to be like Broadway drama or Broadway song and dance?
I believe it's a drama. I don't know if it's singing, to be honest. Yeah, I've only heard the dramatic part.
Yeah, I haven't seen any based on the music stylings of blah blah blah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any like CDs come out for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child soundtrack.
Yeah.
The same way that they have for like Hamilton and everything.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go with no. Yeah. Which is fine. It can still be good.
All right. For more geek media out there, we got our first look of the Inhumans. A boring teaser trailer with just voices was also released.
Yes.
So.
And I'm seeing a very distinct lack of lockjaw in this photo, which I'm very disappointed to be honest. We've seen like the stand-in CGI version of the stand-in live-action version that's going to be turned into CGI lockjaw. In some films, he's like all blue, which means they're going to CGI him up. Unfortunately, they couldn't find a giant dog to drop in there. But this is our first look at the cast together, and I'm like, there's some issues with some of the costumes, and like the hair especially is very. It looks, heck fake.
On who?
I mean, on the lady in the purple dress.
Got Medusa.
Medusa, yeah, red hair, purple dress. I'm like, that hair looks very distinctly plasticky.
Well, that's the thing. You know Medusa, right? You know the character?
I think she was like supposed to be like unbreakable hair or something that grows.
Kinda.
I can't remember.
Her power is like tentacle like hair.
Yeah.
That she could manipulate, she could grab things, she could do whatever.
Yeah, like she had telekinesis just for her hair.
Yeah. Yeah, so she has that ability compared to, like, especially if you want to do the comparison comic book
but
to live action.
Is it supposed to be plastic looking? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Well, that's the thing. I think it's made that way for CG purposes because honestly, especially the way they're filming it.
I'm just saying they could have afforded a better wig. I mean, for the shot, if nothing else. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know it's not real hair that stretches out, folks, but just in this shot, I'm like, you spend so much money on these costumes. Like the rest of their costumes look really nice. Everyone else's hair is very well done, and I feel like they cheaped out on her wig. That's all I'm saying.
My thing with her is like, if you want to get semi comic book accurate, she's obviously with all these characters, they're not making them wear like mask or any kind of headgear like that to cover up their faces because that's pretty much the money.
That's the money maker, yeah. That's why they hired pretty people.
Exactly, but with her in the comics, her hair is like everywhere. I mean, like it's beyond floor length. It's like not exactly Rapunzel kind of length, but
it's Rapunzel on like steroids.
Yeah,
if I recall correctly.
Yeah, she just has once again that ability that she could pretty much do whatever she wants with it. Now, the only thing with me is obviously, once again, we're talking about none of them having masks or whatnot. The only part I feel like the guy that looks cool, but he's gonna have like an easy semi day filming this is Black Bolt because he does not talk. He is the silent Bob of this.
I'm gonna guess that they're doing like a telepathic communication thing. It's like, oh, he doesn't have to say anything like during filming, but it's just in post.
It's all gonna be just like It's all gonna be just facial.
Yeah, I'm gonna think like telepathic communication. Like, he has some device that transmits his thoughts to people, so that even though it does not use any facial features while on camera, there's a lot of post work there. Then it's like
because I could only imagine his script is like obviously no lines,
stands there silently,
just
broods,
look confused, happy face, lion face, and all that kind of stuff. As far as him, I'm guessing the black guy. I think that might be Triton. The Asian guy, I think he's the martial arts. I think Kang. I think it's Kang is his name. Crystal, that's the one that I was really interested in because I wasn't sure how they were gonna pull off the hairstyle of her. Because in the comic books, she at least I'm going to describe this picture. She does have the black bar, but on the back she's supposed to have like a circle pattern. So I don't know if they're gonna have that on her.
Conveniently not in the picture.
Yeah, because I don't know how. Like even in the comic books, that was never explained to me because I couldn't tell if that was like a headgear kind of thing or whatnot. But that's her hair.
There you go.
And because she's the closest, if not the only tie-in to the other Marvel characters because she's actually the love interest of Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and which of course since there's no rights to them, they can't really
Yep, no crossovers.
But yeah, Lockjaw, totally Lockjaw, missing that big giant bulldog with a tuning fork on his head.
Yep, that's the one I'm missing. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of other first looks, we also got a first look this weekend about the Runaways, which is a Hulu original. It's supposed to be like a teen drama superhero show, but just from this picture, it really does emphasize the teen drama stuff. Like, this is a very eclectic cast. You have basically every shade represented, every culture here, or the major ones. And they honestly look too happy to me. Like, they don't look like they're miserable enough to run away in this picture. Like, they seem like, oh, your lives are pretty decent, kids. I'm not sure what you're complaining about.
Pretty kid problems, pretty much as should have been. It doesn't even look like a Power Ranger cast,
Nope. Like even this kid on the end, like this girl who looks all frumpy and mashed, like, I'm an intelligent, good-looking lady. Oh, woe's me.
Boo! I eat cake. Yeah. That's all I could pick off of it. They're not. Nothing's selling to me. Once again, I haven't really read the Runaways.
We're obviously not their demographic, but superheroes should be appealing in some respect.
Totally, and none of them right now. I once again didn't read the Runaways, so I don't know who is in this whole cast. But so far, nothing's really sticking out. It'd be different to say it would actually grab my attention instead of having the title Runaways if it has something like X-Men related. Because remember there was talks about the New Mutants too, but
yeah, they're still doing that. They're doing, they're doing the Skorgor version of the television show with those characters. Mm-hmm. But that's not even scripted yet. Yeah. This is filming at least.
Yeah. So far, nothing's popping out at me on this. I'll wait till they actually have a trailer out, and then I'll make my judgment on that.
Yeah,
The way we saw the trailer for Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger did get my attention, but it wasn't enough to like, oh my god, I gotta watch. I gotta see
now
what's all
teen
about.
drama like with a hint of superpowers. Eventually, I'm like, I'm gonna stick with the CW, and their DC universe. Like,
Yeah, it feels
they're
like
at
it
least
should've
like,
gone that route.
yeah, they're like straightforward about, oh, this is superhero stuff. We're not gonna hide the masks, and there's still drama there.
Yeah.
It's just superhero first, drama second.
That's true. I wish they would get the X-Men rights back, because there's some that's to me
Never.
more
Fox is never giving that up.
more teen appropriate kind of related storylines with that, because it's all about coming of age and developing your abilities and all. There's so much you could go with that, but
Well, yeah,
they're
portions
just-
of the X-Men universe are
Yeah.
very like that. Others not so much. Like if you go back to the Jubilee storyline from the
yeah.
animated series, yeah, I could see that. But like a lot of the X-Men storylines are just, I mean, it was created to talk about racism in the world, and that's not as prevalent
yeah,
in the same respect of like fighting for racial rights.
Yeah.
Now it's just we deal with the realities of post Civil War civil rights.
yeah. We'll see. Eventually, once hopefully these kids, this is their opportunity. This is their breakout.
Oh no,
roles
yeah.
for
Each
all
one of these
them.
kids, I don't know any of them, so
So,
good for them, folks.
yeah.
Good for you kids for having that shot at television fame.
Yeah, just
I'm sure they prefer YouTube fame.
just don't go the Lindsay Lohan approach, and stay off of crack.
Stay up, crack kids. The more you know. Bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
Okay. On to movie trailer showdown, folks. It's a short news week, so that's where we're at. We have 4 trailers enter, only 1 leaves, ladies and gentlemen. We're going again. We have 4 movie trailers for you. The Defenders came out this week. Wonderful trailer, loved it a lot. The Dark Tower is number 2, written by Stephen King, adapted for movies. Kilomole, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme as a geriatric fighter. And then Absolutely Anything, which is going to be I gotta remember his name now. Who is in? I'm mind blinking.
What else was he in with?
No. Have you seen the trailer for Absolutely Anything? It's a comedy with the guy from, Shaun of the Dead.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, yeah, Simon Pegg. Sorry, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for reading me. Simon Pegg as a man who is given the power to do absolutely anything, and his decisions are going to be a test to decide the fate of the world. And so, those are our 4 trailers. Did you watch them?
Most of them.
Most
I didn't get most of them. I didn't get to see absolutely anything. But the thing was with Simon Pegg, especially if it's written by what's his name, Edgar Wright.
His writing partner. Yeah.
I think it's Edgar Wright. And of course, what's the other guy's name? Frost. Something.
Nicholas Frost.
Nicholas Frost. Yeah. That combination of those 3 guys, all their stuff has been pretty good.
I've very rarely seen anything that is not entertaining for them.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that one will take off. But the one that I personally am geeking out on, of course, is the Defenders.
The Defenders. Okay, so you were the Defenders, man. That's your choice. Mm-hmm. Okay, so out of the 4, so what about the Defenders did you like the best?
Oh, just the whole combination. It was kind of like just watching the Avengers for the first time. Is the unification of seeing all the characters all together on the same screen. They're like, oh, they're fighting together. And they're like, you're having that moment. I wonder if they're gonna go that same route as in the Avengers, or they're gonna have that pan camera where they're like, all doing their pose or setting up or prepping up kind of deal.
I don't know if they're gonna do poses as much. I don't know that they have enough story time. Actually, they have more story time. You're right, they do. Mm-hmm. It's a whole season's worth. Mm-hmm. I am confused about what tone they're going to take, though, because each one of those shows has a very distinct tone. I mean, Daredevil is dark. He's can't see, so it's a very dark, gritty, action-oriented feature television series. Jessica Jones is a little more light, a little more comedic, but it's also about rape culture, women empowerment, and then Luke Cage was about Black Power and empowerment of the Black community and the struggle within that diverse community of things happening. And Iron Fist was just about a rich white kid.
Pretty much. The main thing that pretty much it looks like it's linking everybody with, because I was wondering, figure out who was the common enemy in it. It's going to be the Hand, because it did show the tease of the removing of the sarcophagus and exposing Elektra.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Elektra's going to be like the head bad guy, which I really doubt, or it's the whole thing of.
But you also see Sigourney Weaver is supposed to be the big villain.
Yeah, and like supposed to be like rescuing her. You know, probably she's gonna be mind warped and all that, and it's just better.
Evil Elektra. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I want to check it out. It looks really good. It's just a matter of how much detail they're going to show, because obviously they show some scenes where they're not necessarily fighting each other, but I guess they're testing their abilities, because you do see Iron Fist, cranking up that fist and does punch Luke Cage, and you see his cheek go, and
it's like, that actually hurts, because he's hearing the internal part of him, not just the skin.
So that's what makes me wonder what he's going to say afterwards. If he's just going to go ow, or like what the. And
he does say that a little bit, and I mean, you don't see the words in the trailer, but
and of course there's
like the Christmas
exactly, and the whole cross connection with all the characters, because of course Jessica Jones and Luke Cage in comics they eventually have a kid, but
they do right now. They're not together, and he's with Rosario Dawson.
Exactly, the night nurse. Yeah. So there's always going to be honestly, that weird.
She's hotter. I mean, Rosario.
Jessica Jones, Rosario.
Yeah, absolutely, hands down.
Favorite thing that I've seen her in. Clerks 2, when she's dancing to ABC, Michael Jackson.
There you go. Obviously, you haven't seen everything she's done then.
No, I've seen some other stuff, but
sure.
I just...
Okay, now on to my favorite, one of the trailers. It's going to have to be The Dark Tower for me. The Defenders was fun. I liked it. It didn't give me enough information. I've seen stuff before about it, so I'm not as jazzed about it as I was for the trailer for The Dark Tower, which is the first look at that entire movie. And it was very, very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of fallout from like the hardcore Stephen King fans who read all 7 books, and like that's not what happens in those books in the first one, which is the name of the first book at the Dark Tower. And it's probably not going to be nearly as weird and crazy as Stephen King gets in the novels. Like there's some really weird stuff that happens in those books.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, you're traveling through parallel worlds that are connected. There's like time travel stuff in there, because each one of these worlds is developed on their own pace, and some of it's fantasy, some of it's very magic, some of it's dark horror. And there's a lot of like weird themes in the stories, and this seems more like a superhero film where it's like, the gunslinger is going to go save the world from the man in black who's not black, and have this little kid and save him, and they're going to save the world. I think I don't know that they plan to split this into multiple films, to be honest.
Well, we'll see.
But this one you're going to get the gist of it, and for some people that's going to be more than enough, because this is the least popular of Stephen King's novel series. Yeah, it's super popular with like that fantasy crowd, but as far as like all the stuff he's done, least popular. So not everybody's gonna be burned by it.
They're not horror suspense kind of flicks.
No.
Compared to, of course, It, which is coming out later on this year.
Yeah, which is what Stephen King's known for.
And some of them have been kind of revamped. Like one, I think, if I'm right, is like The Mist. The Mist was because you just never knew what was in there until
Yeah, that's when he had a Superboy in. We'll say Superboy.
So, got curious. I'm surprised they haven't remade some other Stephen King stuff. Like
I'm just honestly surprised that this has ever been made, to be honest, because this film had been floating around various studios for 15 years, I think, and it just never got off the ground because nobody could make it appealing enough to the audience until like you. I don't think this could have been made 10 years ago because superhero films weren't a thing. And the fantasy series it didn't fit with like the traditional fantasy like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And so, but when you pitch it as a superhero film, like, oh, well, I get it now. That's it. And that's what this is going to be basically.
It's the trend. So they're trying to cash in on it.
Which is fine. I mean, I'm happy to see this movie as a film at all. And I believe there's also going to be like a TV tie-in adaptation of some kind, which is fine. But whatever it takes. But that was my favorite because I'm a big fan of that series. Yeah. Everything else was really good too. Of course, the kilomole, geriatric, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I feel like they saw that television pilot they did, and they like, oh, look, he's semi-relevant still, and they put him in a movie. And it was like it was just a. But I mean, no, some of those moves he does in this trailer are just absolutely. I'm like, oh, you poor man. Like he looks like that's what he looks like in some instance. He's like he's and like jumping around and like you. you see that the man's in pain and that he's doing his own stunts. So.
At least they're not getting like a body double where he's out of shape and all that. But
no, he's in shape.
But they do those cutscenes.
He's working out.
With a way younger guy going all crazy. Then you just always see that cut back of him just hopping down. Like
I wouldn't mind something like that if it was like just set as a parody. Like like what was that one? The Kung Fu.
Yeah.
What was it called? I can remember
like Kung Fu Hustle or Kung Pao.
Kung Pao. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's just obviously a parody.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Jean-Claude Van Damme do something like that, where it's like those habits, like, oh, he could do his own stuff, but it's a twist. I'm like, oh, that would be very funny to me.
Yeah, I can't think of the name only just because I've been, once again, I don't know why I'm listening to more NPR than I should be, but there's supposed to be this really
You're getting older. That's what it is.
Yeah, going with that. There's this Indian film. Not Native American, but that side of the world.
The dot, not the feather.
Yeah. They said it's a very amazing, very highly, great effects, great everything. The storyline sucks, but it's just it's like their take of a superhero movie. I can't think of the movie the name of the movie to save my life, but it's made it up in the millions. It's up in the top 10 in all around the world.
Like most expensive movies, you mean, or
something like that? And it's just
no. Bollywood is. Amazing. I mean, Bollywood is a major powerhouse on that side of the world, and it makes sense that they would pour money into superfilm just like everybody else, and not worry about plot as much.
Yeah, they just typed it. Excuse me. They said they do have a little small song and dance number in it because being in the Bollywood
traditions.
Exactly. But it's more of a super film. I just can't think of the name of it. But
you can look it up and you can tell us next time we have the show. Because that's it, folks. We're done. Ladies and gentlemen, the show has ended. Short episode because not what happened in the entertainment world this week. No. Most Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of still in the spotlight from everybody else, and nobody wants to say anything because they're not going to be heard. And so we'll expect more entertainment news next week when things die down from Guardians.
And things are happening this month, though. Of course, you got Pirates of the Caribbean coming out. Also, Cars 3, at least for the Disney aspect. I'm not sure if for any films for any other franchises.
No. I'm curious to see what Alien Covenant's going to be. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping to see the movie Colossal this week sometime.
Colossal?
Yeah, it's the one with Anne Hathaway, and she's apparently controlling like a kaiju monster in Japan or something, or Korea.
Yeah.
And whenever she gets like blackout drunk, starts it appears magically or something. I don't want to spoil myself on the plot, so I haven't looked into it, but it looks very entertaining. And Kevin Smith said it was good, so I'm like, okay, I'll go find it as some indie house and watch it because it's not in every theater.
Exactly.
It's more of an indie film, so I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Mm-hmm. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching and listening, and entertaining yourself with us as well. So thanks a lot, everybody. Had a good time talking to you guys and talking with this guy and geeking out. Mm-hmm. If you want to support the podcast, you can find all the ways to do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go, folks. But again, thanks for listening and watching for Geek Bytes Podcast. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, so we see you again. Remember to go geek out about something.